Hello and welcome to Blank Plate, a podcast for Swifties with an appetite. I'm Sarah and I used to be a little kid with glasses in a twin-size bed. My co-host, Laura, is a mess, but she's the mess that she wanted because she's currently on maternity leave. But today I'm here with a special guest to chat about all things Taylor Swift. I'm here today with my friend Kelley. She's a first grade teacher, a mom to two perfect angel daughters, and she's the hostess with the mostest who will put together the most insane Super Bowl party spread you've ever seen. Kelley, welcome to Blank Plate.
Hi, everybody.
How's it going?
It's going.
Yeah.
You said it perfectly.
So Kelley, what's your tagline?
Okay, so I thought about this a lot, ever since you asked me to be on the pod. So it went through a few things, but I think I landed with I was dancing through the lightning strikes.
Ooh, I like that.
Right?
Very fun.
And I'm still dancing, by the way.
Still dancing through the lightning strikes. Yeah, I love that. You can take that a couple different ways.
Oh, yeah. I really wanted to go with hi, it's me, I'm the problem. But that felt a little too self-deprecating. So dancing through the lightning strikes felt a little bit more me.
Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah.
So starting off, we should probably talk about how we know each other.
Sure.
So we've been friends since 2012. So it's been 14 years, basically.
Dear God, I'm not that old.
I know. I realized recently that I graduated college 15 years ago. And I was like, what?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. That doesn't seem right.
Doesn't seem
that
I'm
was
still 28.
It was 5 years ago. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And I'm 27.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so if we go back to 2012, that was when I started dating the gay ex-husband, Robert, who is somewhat famous on the pod as part of my lore. But your husband, Dave, was his coworker and best friend at the time. And you and Dave were already dating at that time.
Yeah, Dave and I started dating in 2011.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I met you and Dave at the same time.
Correct.
And then we've just been friends ever since. Yep. So honestly, you and Dave are part of the best things that came out of my relationship with Robert. So
yeah. Sorry, Robert.
Yeah. We still love Robert. Yeah. And then I got to attend Robert's wedding recently with you and Dave on New Year's. That was fun.
That was very sweet. Full circle moment there.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we've been very good friends ever since. And you were in my first wedding. I was in your wedding to Dave.
Mm-hmm.
And from the Taylor Swift side of things, we attended the Eras tour together.
Yes. That's still the group chat name.
Right. Taylor Tour.
Taylor Tour.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how we know each other. Yeah. So you're one of my besties. You've definitely been mentioned on the pod. I'm sure you know.
Thank you.
So let's get
Dave's slightly more famous than I am on the pod.
Well, maybe. Yeah, because I've definitely talked about Dave, your husband, because he was the first Swiftie in the friend group aside from me, I would say. Because he and I were diehard for Reputation.
Yeah, maybe you should have him and he can tell his origin story.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell his origin story for him, but
right.
Yeah.
But who do you think is the bigger Swiftie now, you or Dave?
Oh, me.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Always
what I thought too.
Always been
me.
Me.
So were you a Swiftie before Dave was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's hear your Swiftie origin story.
So my origin story. Okay.
Yeah.
Picture it. It is, let's think, it's 2005, 2006-ish.
Okay.
And I had just graduated high school.
Okay.
or was graduating high school.
Yeah.
And I was still in charge of bringing my brother and sister to school. We lived like half an hour away, and all of us attended the same school together. And so I had to drive everybody to school, and I would drive everybody home. And as the driver, you got to pick the music in my house. And it would be me in the driver's seat, my sister in the passenger seat, windows down, picture to burn, blasting through the radio.
Nice.
Like, we just, like, that was my first song from her that I was just like, this is it. This woman is amazing. Like, I just love her. And ever since then, I mean, I really loved the debut album. Like, Tim McGraw, my sister was really into country music at the time too. So like she knew about her as well. And then Fearless and Speak Now came out, and I listened to the radio hits. I'm not sure I was like too deep into like the album itself.
Yeah.
It took me until probably This Is Bad, but like midnights to understand how put together an album is.
Okay.
Right? Like listening to it from start to finish and not just putting it on shuffle.
Okay.
Yeah, like if I was everything was shuffle for me. Everything was shuffle for me. But when I met Dave, I was still a Swiftie. I would listen to her radio hits, and you know, I'd put on her albums from time to time too, but I wasn't like I was a chorus. Like I would fall in love with the chorus of the songs, and like that would be it for me. It was like about the feeling. It was about the jams. It was about the movements that my body was already doing while the music was happening, right?
Yeah.
And then 1989 came out. And then Dave and I became Swifties together. Right?
Yeah.
And so I like refound my love for her then, and like went back and listened to all of the other ones. And then I've just like never really not listened to Taylor Swift. People always were like, oh, so you like Taylor Swift? And I was like, yeah, I like Taylor Swift. Yep. Okay. And yeah. So I'm like, I've been listening since debut.
Yeah.
Red came out, and I like had a couple of really big likes onto the song, but that was like a breakup album for her. And I wasn't in a breakup space at that time. In fact, I had just met Dave. And so a lot of the songs were really good, but they didn't touch me the way that her ones later have. And we'll get into that a little bit, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And so it's just like grown, I guess, since 1989.
Oh, yeah.
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 I mean, how can I not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you are probably the person in my life who's most knowledgeable about astrology, right?
I hope so. Maybe.
Yeah. I think so.
I try.
So I want to ask you what your sun, moon, and rising albums are. And before, let's like kind of define that a little bit, and you can probably help me. Like, how would you describe sun, moon, and rising? Because I know moon is typically associated with like your childhood and your inner emotional self. Would you say that's right?
From the research I done to be able to answer this question, yes.
Okay.
Like you said that, and I was like, no, I definitely had to look up what was what. Like, I know that the moon is very much like your inner self and like your emotional state and like how you interact with the world kind of thing. Yeah. But then I always get confused between sun and rising.
Okay.
So your ascending sign, from my understanding, is the one like you're like that most people know, right?
The rising sign? I think the rising sign, the way I've heard it described, is kind of the self that you present to the world. Okay. So rather than your sun sign being what people think of you as. If like, I think if someone had to guess what your sign is, they're probably gonna guess like your rising sign because that's more how you present
Okay.
to the outside world. And then I guess the sun is just kind of like your true self. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little
That
confusing.
I agree. And so that's why I always get those confused.
Yeah. And then the moon I think of as being kind of like foundational. It's almost
Mhm.
like where you come from.
Mhm.
Oh, and your rising sign is also supposed to be kind of like who you're perpetually like growing into.
Your rising sign is who you are perpetually growing into. Okay.
Yeah. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, I think so.
So, with all of that mumbo jumbo, let's turn it into Taylor Swift albums. What are your sun, moon, and rising albums?
Okay. So the one that the world perceives me as,
Hmm.
right? Which one did we say that was?
Rising sign.
The rising sign. That's 1989.
Okay.
Right.
I think
It's
that fits.
bubbly, it's poppy, it's like her first step into that realm. It's,
Hmm.
you know, it's out of the woods, it's style, it's wildest dreams, it's like, that
Yeah.
like girlfriend relationship
Hmm.
thing, right?
This
So
also
that,
fits for you because you will be the first person on the dance floor
oh,
in
100%. Yeah.
any situation.
Any situation. So like with
Yeah.
this being her first pop album,
Hmm.
I had to give that
Yeah.
my rising sign
Okay. I
for
like
sure.
that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. What about the other two?
My moon.
Hmm.
Okay, bear with me here on this one.
Okay.
Midnights.
I was going to guess Midnights.
Yeah. So I perceive Midnights to be like this processing album where she's going back and like processing. She's recording Midnights while she's re-recording her
Hmm.
previous albums. So in my head, it's like I couldn't even tell you what all the songs are about because she's just like reprocessing through previous experiences. And I feel
Hmm.
like my emotional self does like that anxiety that I have, the like
Hmm.
fear of, oh God, what is it? Imposter syndrome kind of stuff. Like
Mm.
that
Hmm.
all just ties into Midnights for me.
Yeah.
So, also, Midnights will be the first album that I put on. If I'm like, I just need a little Taylor, I'll throw Midnights
Mm.
on. So,
Nice.
like, that feels very, like, healing to me, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Awesome. So, what about your sun sign then?
Like, so, like, my innermost self.
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. See, I had a really hard time coming up with
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to say Life of a Showgirl,
That's what I was going to say for you.
right? Like,
Why am I nailing this?
nailing them, nailing them. But like, I perform every day. Like being a first grade teacher, you are on your toes, you're making decisions, you're just constantly smiling at things that you don't really care about. Please don't tell my children.
Right.
And like making the mundane things really fun and like
Yeah.
trying to get them excited about double digit
Hmm.
subtraction,
Yeah.
And so, like, I really love that final song too, because it just,
Hmm.
right. And it's like really thankless at times. Like, as a first grade teacher specifically, nobody really, like, we remember your name of your first grade teacher, but like the
Hmm.
relationship you had with the right teacher was either in high school or middle school. I'll even give you third grade.
Hmm.
Nobody really recounts the relationship that they had with their first grade teacher, but
Mm.
I taught you how to read.
Right.
You came in learning, understanding that letters make sounds. You
Yeah.
left reading chapter books. Like that was me.
Yeah. Hmm.
Like your foundational math skills, again,
Yeah.
me. But
Yeah.
and just like the way she sorry, I had to pull my list out of the songs.
It's okay.
Um eldest daughter.
Oh, I mean, hello.
Hello. Also with a youngest son.
Mm,
And like, I love her tongue in cheek on Actually Romantic too. Like, I was listening to that and I was like,
mm-hmm,
this is how I want my daughters to feel about bullying. And like
mm,
the kids they're going to experience in middle school and high school. I just want them to be like, you're so obsessed with me. Like,
yeah,
it's actually romantic. Like,
yeah,
thanks, guys.
yeah.
And just like laugh it off and just have that kind of confidence in yourself. And I think
Mm-hmm,
that's the other thing that Life of a Showgirl has that I think my
mm,
innermost self and how I perceive myself has. It's like, it's the confident. It's,
mm,
this is me and I don't give a shit what you think. Like,
yeah,
it's taken me a really long time to get there.
mm,
And like the coming into my confidence piece is
mm,
only been in the last few years. And I
mm,
feel that
yeah,
on Life of a Showgirl.
yeah. That's awesome. I think there's also something with Showgirl. Some of us thought it might be an album more about performing, and it's kind of there a little bit as like an undercurrent. But really, Showgirl, a lot of songs on Showgirl are showing Taylor's softer sides, I would say. Like Eldest Daughter, Wish List,
Yeah.
Honey. It's
Ruined
actually a
friendship,
very like sweet and soft album, but packaged in this like bubbly
bubbly,
package.
shiny, sparkly.
Mhm.
But I think that is the
Yeah.
Showgirl of it all, right?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
It's very meta.
Mhm.
Like the whole
Yeah.
album just feels very,
Right.
you know, yeah.
Um, well, since we're talking about Showgirl, let me skip
Mhm.
ahead a little bit. I
Sure.
mean, I feel like I already know the answer to this, but like, what are your honest thoughts on Showgirl as part of Taylor's discography?
This is one of her best albums,
Yeah?
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. And like
Mhm.
yeah. Showgirl is what Lover could have been if it
That's,
had
yeah. Mhm.
a point. I like don't, don't get me wrong. Like uh I think that's what Lover's missing though. It jumps
Mhm.
too much. It doesn't have a train of thought. Like it just does like it's all
Yeah.
over the place. She's all over the place. She's starting to come in to
Mhm.
herself on Lover, but like
Mhm.
Showgirl,
Yeah.
Showgirl is direct, it's thought through, it's clear, it has a point. Like
Mhm.
she knew what she was doing with this album, and it was as much as it was a concept album for her, as she
Mm.
said, like it just hits. And like every single song hits. Like
Mhm.
it's not like there's absolutely no skips on this album. Like let's
Mm.
just say
Yeah.
that for a fact. Like every single one makes me get up and belt it. Every
Mm.
single one.
Yeah.
Like when
That's
I need to
awesome.
be in a good mood, Showgirl's what I put on.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I need to start my day, Showgirl's what I put on.
If you need a little pep in your step.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
we're doing like Fun Friday or something at school, I would like to put on Showgirl, but it's not appropriate. But like
What is Fun Friday?
oh, when they have followed direction and done really well all week, we like just let them play games or like have indoor
Oh.
recess
For
and
like the
like
whole day?
no for like the last half
Oh.
hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like it's like a fun incentive for any child who's gotten their work done for the week or followed directions or
Okay.
followed the expectations.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Cute.
they're 6, they
Yeah.
can't hold on all
Right.
week.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love that you love
Yeah,
Showgirl.
I
Um,
do.
I think for me, the last track is a skip, but I
Mm,
don't dislike it. It's just like I'd rather listen to like any other song on the album,
mhm,
you know?
mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know where Showgirl lands for me in my ranking, but it's in the top half. of all of her albums. So I don't know, but I'm glad you love it. I'd
I
love
love
to
it.
hear about people loving the album because I think it's good. I
I
think
think
it's a
it's really
good
good.
album.
Yeah. I don't understand why it got so much hate. And I'm going to blame the bot
Yeah.
because
It's probably mostly the bots. Well, even like Olivia Rodrigo just dropped her single yesterday or on Friday. Did you listen to it yet?
I haven't.
You'll like it. But I'm seeing
Actually,
so much hate for it online. Were we going to say you
it's
might
just,
not like it?
no, I may have heard it.
Oh, okay.
I think this all just goes into women as artists. People
Oh, yeah.
have a very hard time hearing
Mm-hmm.
what we have to say.
Yeah. And
I
she's almost getting like showgirl hate for it, I think, because people are like, these lyrics are juvenile or whatever, but it's like a lovey pop song. Like it's just fun. It's like she's
we
not.
can't
It's not driver's
we
license.
can't
Okay.
be like what do I want to say for this? Like it's like if you're too hard, you're too like it's that constant thing that women are being asked of. If you go too hard, you're too hard. But if you're too soft, you're too soft. Like
The
we
Barbie
have to
monologue.
be exactly. Exactly.
Everyone go watch Barbie again. America Ferrera's monologue
Seriously.
is just facts, straight facts.
Facts. But here we are again, even like how many years later, having the same conversation. Like, especially against female artists. I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Why can't we just be?
Right.
We just need to be able to be human. Like,
yeah.
I get so frustrated about 100%.
That. I feel that. Yeah. Okay, so let me hit you with the heavy hitters.
Okay.
This is kind of rapid fire, but feel free to say more.
Okay.
Favorite album?
That's so hard. That's so hard. Because, like, it depends on my mood.
Yeah.
I'll throw this out there, okay? I will never seek out putting on specifically Debut, Fearless, Speak Now, Red, Folklore, or Evermore.
Oh.
Right?
How dare you?
I know. I have a whole, okay, here's my thing with Folklore and Evermore. Okay. I didn't understand it when it came out. Right? She also dropped those right after Lover. And you know how I feel about Lover.
You love Lover.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I listened to it again today to prepare myself for this.
You're a glitter gel pen.
I'm a glitter gel
girly.
pen. I am.
Yeah.
And so, like, to follow Lover with Folklore and Evermore in 2020, I just didn't understand it. And we were going through so much at that time that I actually don't think I listened to it the week that it dropped. I think you and Laura had to convince me to listen to it at all. And you had just been, I remember thinking that you had just gone through your stuff with Robert, and I was like listening to this album going, Sarah's not okay. Like,
and I wasn't.
And you weren't. Like I remember going like, Sarah's supposed to be listening to this. Like, I don't think this is for her right now.
But actually it was like exactly what I needed. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I didn't appreciate Folklore and Evermore for what they are until after I had children, after the pandemic was over, and after you and Laura sat me down and were like, no, you need to like English 101 or AP English. Is that what we called it?
Oh, right. Yeah, we got together
you
one
guys
night
came
and we
over.
called it AP English 101
AP
and we
English.
were like explaining all the folklore songs to you.
Yes.
Right?
And like all the lore behind them as well, too. And like, it was after that I really started to appreciate those albums. And I will seek to put those on when I need a quiet, calm down moment.
When your child won't go to sleep.
So I'm going to shout out the playlist on Spotify by
Oh,
Hey Sleepy Baby.
okay.
It's called like the Taylor Swift method. And it
Oh,
is all of her soft songs, mostly
okay.
from Folklore and Evermore, but she throws
Yeah.
in like Sweet Nothings and the
Mm,
fourth song on the playlist. And I listen to it in order on the playlist. The fourth
mm-hmm.
song on the playlist is the All Too Well 10-minute version, Sad Girl
Oh, autumn
Autumn
version. Yeah.
version.
Mm-hmm.
If my child is not asleep by the end of that song, she's not going to sleep.
I will link to this playlist in the show notes
It
for the
is
listeners.
if you have young children and you are in the car and you just need them to like go to
Yeah.
sleep, it starts with Champagne Problems, goes to
Okay.
August, and then it's My
Oh,
Tears Ricochet, and then the fourth song is that one.
all too well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Daphne is asleep by the end of that song every single time.
Yeah, that one could almost put me to sleep. The Sad
Yeah.
Girl autumn version.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
gotten to the point where I put it on so much that Champagne Problems comes on and Addie goes, "Hey, mommy, it's the sleepy song." Yep.
That's cute.
So, yeah. So we call it the sleepy
Okay.
song,
Yeah.
not Champagne Problems.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, favorite album
Mm-hmm.
is hard for me because I will put on Midnights, I will put on Life of a Showgirl, I will put on 1989, I'll put
Mm-hmm.
on Lover, I will put on Reputation, of
Mm-hmm.
course.
Mm-hmm.
But it depends on like
Yeah.
what's stuck in my head at the time.
Right.
If it's stuck in my head, I have to put it on to get it out.
Mm-hmm.
And the emotion I'm feeling. So,
Yeah.
like, favorite album is hard.
I thought you had told me before that Lover was your favorite album.
It it might be.
Yeah.
It might be.
Because I remember being surprised by that.
Well, a lot of people give a Lover a lot of hate.
And I'm one of them. I'm
Yeah.
probably too hard on Lover,
Okay,
but
so
I have my
you
reasons.
fair. Yeah.
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 And one
And
of
I
them
think
is what you said. Like it's like confused
it's
as an
confused.
album.
Yeah. And it has,
Yeah.
I think I was looking at the producers list to be able to have this conversation. It has like the most number of producers
Yep.
than any album. So I think
Yeah.
that right there just jumps into the
Mm-hmm.
chaos. And this is
Yeah.
Jack's second album with her
Mm-hmm.
because he did Reputation. That was his
Yeah.
first album with her.
Oh, wait,
And
no.
then,
He was on 1989 as well. 1989 was when he first started working with Taylor.
okay.
Because he did Out of the Woods. I think it's is it I Know Places
Okay.
or I Wish You Would. Yeah, like, but for sure Out of the Woods, a couple other ones. That was
Mm.
the first. So yeah, 1989 Reputation and then Lover.
Mm-hmm. But
But
she
he was just kind of
dropped.
sprinkled in.
Yeah. She
Yeah,
dropped Max Martin and Shellback for Lover. And she shouldn't have.
right. I agree.
She shouldn't have.
Lover probably would have been better
Yeah.
with them.
It also has like way too many songs on it. Like
Mm,
if she had dialed it back a little bit,
back.
I
Yeah.
think people would have liked it more.
That was
But
something critics were saying when it came out, was that she should have edited a little bit more.
yeah.
Yeah.
But how can you hate the man? Like it came out in 2019.
Hmm.
She had to have written that song during 2016, I'll say. Like
Maybe.
like we needed that.
Yeah.
We needed that.
Hmm.
Now, I will make the argument here as well that many of the songs, I'll call them the love songs on
Hmm.
here on Lover, aren't as good as the love songs on Life of a Showgirl.
Hmm.
But these are the only two albums she has love songs on. Like true.
Reputation as love songs.
Sorry, yes. But those are like beginning.
Mm. Yeah. Like
Those
Honeymoon
are like,
Phase.
right. These are
Mhm.
like deep
Yeah.
deep feeling songs.
Right.
Right? And like she picked the wrong singles. And she will admit that because she re-released Cruel Summer as a single during the Eras Tour, which was 4 years later, 5 years later.
Yeah.
So I think she would agree that she released the wrong songs as singles.
For that album, she probably would agree. Yeah.
I mean, I Forgot You Existed. That's such a good song. Like, I don't care who it's about. Like, it's just, it speaks to whoever you need it to speak to in that moment, right? Like when you're listening to it again and you're just like, that's right. And Death by a Thousand Cuts, everybody loves Death by a Thousand Cuts. Do you forget that it's on this album? Because it's on this album.
Problem with Lovers, it has some high highs and some very low lows. Yeah. You know, like it's probably one of the albums with like the most skips for me.
I wouldn't disagree, but it also has some of my favorites, which is why my argument is, shouldn't say like that it's my favorite album.
Yeah.
I think it has the most skips for me as well, but
the highs are really high for you.
The highs are they're so Glitter Gel Pen for me that I can't. London Boy just has it. Like, like Paper Rings. Put Paper Rings on and you will get me on that dance floor every single time. Every single time.
Paper Rings. Yeah. That's good.
Like the jitter, oh God, Glitter Gel Pens are just epic on this album. And I don't think they're as many on any other album. She usually sprinkles in a glitter gel pen. But
except
this
for like
one,
1989, I would say probably has a lot. Maybe. Well, I guess it depends how you define glitter gel pen.
Right.
I think of 1989 as being like the glitter album, you know?
I don't know if I agree with that.
No? Why not? Does it feel like darker to you?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess for me, it's like the sound of it is so glittery.
It's not as happy.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It wants to be happy. But it just isn't.
That's a good
Lover is happy.
Is it though?
The highs are.
So, well, how about what's your least favorite album then?
Oh, Speak Now. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry to all the Speak Now lovers.
I'm so sorry. I know it's like her album that she wrote by herself, but I think that just speaks to how good she is working and with other people and getting the best out of both artists. Don't get me wrong. There are some great songs on Speak Now, but there's a reason she only included Enchanted on the tour.
That's tea. That's tea.
Also will admit, these are my least favorite Vault tracks.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah. I might be with you on that.
Least favorite Vault tracks.
Yeah. You know what, though? Speak Now Taylor's version might be my favorite album cover, album art that she's ever done.
I'll give you,
I
it's beautiful.
love it. It's stunning. It looks like a painting. And it fits that kind of like fairy tale fighting dragons vibe.
Yeah.
Like she's like in her tower writing her songs and like coming for people. I don't know.
Right. No, but like what how old was she then? This was released in 2010, so she was what, 25?
She wrote 20? No, she was like 20. Yeah. So she wrote those songs when she was like 19 all by herself.
Yeah. And okay, so let's go back and like take that for what it is. She wrote these songs when she was 19 by herself as a third album. Like, these are still epic songs. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I just
For you personally, it's
has
your
the
least
most yes. Also, I can't listen to Innocent. It makes me angry.
Yeah. That's a big skip for me.
Yeah.
Especially now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was going to say it feels cringe now. That song in particular.
Yeah, I feel that. So what about your top 5 songs? Do you have a top 5 that you can name?
No. 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 Because okay, so I have all the like I have them all printed, like the track lists of every album. And I had to write down a couple of them because my printer ran out of ink. So I'm like sitting there writing these down and I'm like, oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's so good. I love that song. Like
it's so hard.
I love that song. If I had a gun to my head and you made me pick like 5 songs I had to pick.
Or even just tell us 5 songs that you love that could be in your top 5. You're not married to them being
I'm not married to the top
5.
5. Okay.
But they're 5 of your absolute favorites.
I will tell you, I have a 3-song, like my favorite 3-song run is from 1989, Blank Space, Style, Out of the Woods. Those 3 songs.
Amazing.
Every time, right?
Yeah.
But then like, I love Paper Rings. You can't kill me on that one. Sorry. And I'm going to go with, can I just say the entire album from Showgirl? Like, but then you get like Vigilante shit and Bejeweled and Lavender Haze. Like, I don't know why that song for me just like hits. Oh, it hits different. I just love Hits Different.
I love Hits Different.
Love that song. And Dave was like, so which album? And I was like, oh, Midnights. And I said like, but the Till Dawn edition. And he was like, you have a specific edition?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whichever one has Hits Different. Yeah.
That's the Till Dawn edition.
Yeah.
No,
I agree. Hits Different is probably my favorite song for Midnights. And is probably in my top 10 of Taylor songs.
When that came out and I didn't know if we were going to get it on an album, I was very upset. Do you have an ice cream truck going by?
Yes. This happens several times a day.
That's amazing. I'm glad that you have the option to get ice cream.
What's crazy is I've never gotten ice cream from it. I don't know how this has happened. Never done it.
Sarah, that feels very off-brand.
I know it is. Okay, so what you're hearing is our classic ice cream truck. There's another ice cream truck that is very creepy because it makes bop it noises. Like
the toy from the 90s?
Yes, it makes noises like that. And then it will also go as part of its little soundscape. A voice goes, hello, like a parrot talking to you.
No, thank you. I would be signing some sort of petition to make that stop because,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we have 2 of them. But yeah, it just passed through. So I think we're in the clear. Yeah.
But there's so many good songs on Tortured Poets too.
Yeah.
Like, but Daddy, I Love Him. I'm Gonna Get You Back. I don't know what it is about that song, but I just love I'm Gonna Get You Back.
That song has crack in it. Yeah.
Yes, that's what it is. And like, I love the Prophecy too. And that in juxtaposition with So High School, like it makes me so happy.
Yeah.
And Guilty as Sin. Oh, that song made me want to get my first tattoo.
Oh.
Right?
But you didn't yet, right?
I haven't gotten one yet. I have a list of like 3 tattoos that I want. But what would the tattoo be? Mine on my upper thigh.
Oh.
possibly written in Dave's handwriting, but it's terrible.
Oh. That would be really funny if you had mine written in bad male handwriting on your upper thigh.
You
as
wouldn't
your
be able to
first
read it.
tattoo.
That's how bad his handwriting is. But yes. Like, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Talk about getting a Swiftie tattoo that isn't like, it's just so deeply Swiftie that only the Swifties would get it.
Definitely. Oh my God.
Also, 1989 has my favorite Vault tracks.
Oh.
Hands down.
I
mean,
we
that
would all
being said,
agree on that.
Reputation's Vault tracks have not come out yet.
True.
So I will.
Can't speak on that yet.
Right.
Who knows?
It is possible that has my favorite Vault tracks, but they're still in the vault.
Same.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any song that you hate?
Yes. I will skip
Is
it every
Innocent?
time. No.
What?
It's
Which
Timeless.
One? Oh.
I can't. And look, I get so upset saying that because it's still Taylor's work, right?
Right.
And that song has the storytelling quality that we all love about her work. And it has that ability to speak to so many people and so many generations, but it is so, what's the right word? Childish.
Okay.
Like it just doesn't, it takes it to the storytelling to the baseline. Like she tells stories so well that to have her tell this story so directly, I think gives me the ick.
Okay.
I don't know how else to describe it. And that line, that one line, I was walking and I saw a book in the cobwebs.
Hold on, I have it. Let me play it. I'm going to play it. Hold on. Okay. I didn't know this is why you want to talk about it. This is so funny. Okay, hold on.
Which brought me back to the first time I saw you. Time stood still like something in this old shop. I thought about it as I started looking round at these precious things that time forgot. That's when I came upon a book covered in cobwebs, story of a romance torn apart by fate.
Oh my God. So just like it just makes you feel gross.
Yes, but it's not like the word cobwebs is gross. Like I say, like I don't feel the way. Yeah. I think it's this is going to be really niche and I apologize. Okay. But 30 Rock was one of those shows that I just like would play in the background because I had access to it at some point. And there's this one episode where there's like this young girl and she's trying to become an artist, probably mentions Taylor Swift at one point, where it's like alluding to her or whatever. And she is singing about rainbows and cobwebs. And that line just reminds me of that one episode and that like cringy, like, and it makes it feel to me, and I'm not saying that like everybody else agrees with me, that like it's just so, it feels juvenile.
Okay.
And Taylor she doesn't write in a juvenile style. And I like the song. Like, don't get me wrong. I like the song. I think it has a good beat. You saw me grooving to it at the beginning, but then that line hits and I just like, I have to turn it off. Like,
that's so funny. But like, we all have that thing, right? Like,
I hope that I'm not alone.
I'm sure you're not. I like Timeless. I can't remember if Laura likes it or not, but I think she does. I think I was surprised that she did because it doesn't seem like one she would like that much. But like, kind of what you're describing, this like ick from the song, I get that from the entire song of Safe and Sound. Which, like,
is that on Red,
like,
right?
sonically. No, that was from the like Hunger Games movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So thankfully I don't have to have it come across my desk very often. But Like, for me, that's more of like a sonic thing. But like, I would never say that it's a bad song. It's just,
No.
I hate it. I personally hate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, and I'm sure there are lyrics, like the way you're talking about this lyric and how it affects you. I'm sure there are lyrics like that in other songs of hers for me. I can't think of them right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I know one, actually. In I Bet You Think About Me,
Mm.
I guess she says kitchen table bills, but she sings it
Oh,
like she's
yeah.
saying kitchen table bowls, which is another thing you find in a kitchen. But like, why are you singing it like bowls? And then once that happens in the song, that's all I can think about. And I love that
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
But every time I'm like, Taylor, why?
It's
Did no
the
one tell
opposite.
you like that you're singing bowls instead of bills?
It's the same feeling, but the opposite of when she says poems,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Because I love that.
I know you do.
Poems.
Poems.
Thrilled you into all of my poems.
Poems. But you love that. But you hate when she
do.
said, and I think
Yeah.
on Red, she was still doing her like twangy
A little
attempt.
bit, yeah.
A little
Mhm.
bit. So I wonder if that
Yeah.
has something to do with that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that giggle about Timeless. That's really
Yep.
funny.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, in a different direction, is there a Taylor song that feels uniquely personal to you? Like she wrote it about your life?
No.
No?
No. Like, I'd like to say like Paper Rings. Like I
Mhm.
do like that one like
Yeah.
has my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
But and like Afterglow a little as well.
Mhm.
It just we can all agree that there have been fights and that you
Mhm.
have to go back and say, I'm the problem. It's me.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think any of my fights are as serious as the ones that she's talking about in that. Okay.
Mhm.
Looking back, I'm pretty sure that's about him gaslighting her into thinking that he's not cheating or something along those lines. So, like, again, nothing that intense. I won't say
Yeah.
serious because, we've all been having the serious fights. But, like, so many of them touch moments. Like,
Mhm.
even Nothing New has me,
Mhm.
like, being the age that I am, that I'm not going to say. And, like, you knew everything at 18, but nothing at 22. Like,
Mhm.
and being in a relationship for
Yeah.
so long. Like, I asked Dave the other day and I was like, do you feel like I'm like nothing new? Like, would you pick me again? And like,
Would you love me if I was a worm? Are you familiar with that on TikTok? No. It's like you thought I was just saying that.
I assumed it was something from somewhere. Like, I didn't assume you just came out with it, but like,
No, I don't know like how it got started, but it's like it became a thing that it's like there's questions that like the girl asks the guy, whether it's like her boyfriend or her husband or whatever in a relationship, basically like, would you still love me like this? Or would, if you met me today, would you still fall in love with me? But the question is, would you still love me if I was a worm?
No, I wouldn't. I'm so very sorry.
And it's just like, it's supposed to represent like the questions that we as women ask of our partners. That they're like, what?
I get that.
Why are you asking me this? Yeah.
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 So,
Well, what
like,
about eldest daughter for you?
Yeah. See,
Does
like,
that
this
hit?
is what I mean. Like, there are points of that song, too, that I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, did you read my...
So you have like sections of songs.
Yeah.
Like various songs that definitely hit hard for you.
I mean, and even Bigger Than the Whole Sky.
Mhm.
Like, no matter when I'm listening to Taylor in my life, right? Like, there will always be lyrics, lines, moments, verses that I go, huh, to. and like
Yeah.
will make me think about the moment that I'm in, the moment that I was in, the
Yeah.
moments still to come. When I listen to like Bigger Than the Whole Sky, I had a miscarriage and it takes me back to that experience.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
that's what she wrote that song about. I think
Yeah.
it is, but I have grown so much since then, since that moment for me. But when you
Mm-hmm.
go back and listen to that, it like there are days that I skip that song because I
Yeah.
can't feel that way. Or
Yeah.
like and all her love songs will make me think of love stories and moments in my own love stories, and which is really funny because most of the songs that I love from her are not her love songs. They're her breakup songs
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
like her female rage songs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But even then, like, I don't commune with her on those, but I feel them with her,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good answer, though. I like that. We talked about Showgirl.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a Swiftie hot take? I feel like you already dropped a couple of them.
I dropped.
So unless you have any other ones to drop, we can skip that for now.
Nothing like specifically that comes up in the like, this is a hot take beyond Lover might be my favorite album. No, she's brilliant. This woman is brilliant. That's all I have.
Yeah.
And that's not a hot take in any way, shape, or form. But
No. Yeah.
like she even had it. Like I'm looking at the track list on Debut, and it's like I have so many connections to all those songs too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't have a lot of memories from my childhood, and that's not for any other reason than I have terrible ADHD. But like songs and moments will always be melded together in my brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Picture to
Yeah.
Burn, like that just is a time in my life. And like, I don't know. I'm like, just these track lists are unreal.
Is there an underrated song that you would defend with your life?
Ooh, no. I mean, you're never going to get me to just love, oh God, Shake It Off. I'm sorry.
Oh.
You would think that like
Yeah.
as a dancer,
Yeah. I
that
would
Shake
think
It,
that would be one that you love, but you don't. Yeah.
no. I
I
love
don't
that
love it either.
album in spite of that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree. Like, I'm not going to get mad that it's on. Like, if it comes on the
No.
radio or comes on at a wedding, I'm absolutely dancing to
No.
it. But if I'm listening in my car, I might skip that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Not when I don't have a lot of time. Like if you
Right.
put all her songs together, I think you have
Mhm.
over 24 hours of music to listen to.
Might be.
Because I think
I
I
know. Let me
think
see
I
how
did
long my
that.
Taylor playlist is.
I was going to say.
I have a Taylor playlist that has like every Taylor song I have, including remixes.
Okay.
And let me see.
See,
how
I'm
long
not
it
even
is.
including those.
It might not be as long as you think. Oh, no, you're correct. It is 1.8 days
Yeah.
of music.
I'm looking up mine.
Wow.
Oh, I must not have them all because I have 16 hours and 51 minutes.
Oh.
But I don't have multiple. This is only my Taylor's version playlist. So I don't include the original because I made this.
Yeah, mine has probably
before.
the original and the Taylor's versions on it.
Yeah. So if you include those, and I don't think I have. Oh, I did. I did put Debut on here when she bought them back. Because you would ask Spotify to play Taylor, and they would only play like the This Is Taylor Swift singles playlist or the Taylor Swift radio, which includes other artists, which is fine. I just wanted like only Taylor. And I have one additional song on there besides the one copy of each song. I have a second copy of The Man, which is the Live from Paris.
Oh, okay.
because I love that song. I love that song.
Yeah.
It's like the way Father Figure makes you feel, the bridge at the end of Father Figure. You just want to like belt that out and scream it. The whole song of The Man makes me feel that way.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What song do you wish would have been added to the Eras Tour set list?
I've been thinking about this one, and I don't know if I have like a specific song, but I do wish there were more from 1989.
Oh. I feel like that was one of her longer sets as it was.
It probably was. But
yeah.
I don't know why. Did she play You Need to Calm Down from Lover? Was that on the set list?
I think it was.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, she played all my favorites from Midnights, so I can't I don't think there was anything off of Midnights that I would have wanted to hear. But it would have been great to do Death by a Thousand Cuts.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
And where's my Reputation list? Oh, here it is. I mean, the whole Reputation tour was so good. Like watching that that back, I really liked how she did Dress. So I would have liked to have seen like something like that from her.
Yeah.
On the tour, but did something bad. That one, I would have liked to have seen that one added to the Reputation.
Definitely.
Set. Just because it's fun.
I know. Yeah.
It's so fun.
I love that. That's an iconic performance. So.
And I love the vault tracks from 1989. We talked about that already. So if she could have done like Is It Over Now or Now That We Don't Talk on the tour.
Yeah. Is It Over Now? Yeah.
I love it.
That might be in my top 10.
Really?
Top 15 to 20, I would say for sure.
For sure. Like if I had to sit down and like had a day where the only thing I had to do was rank my top 20 songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be so
like I
hard.
never skip that.
No.
Mm-mm. It helps that it's short too. I feel like I have time for this.
Yeah, it's only 2:20.
Yeah. It's one of her shortest songs. So, yeah.
There's a lot of songs on Red that I like too. And she had a very short Red set, but she did the 10-minute version.
The 10-minute version,
so, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think she just picked
her like pop hits.
Her pop hits from Red. But I think there are a couple of deep cuts on there that I just like.
Yeah. Like what's
really
a deep cut that you love from Red?
From Red? Okay. Treacherous.
Me too. I love Treacherous.
Yeah. And
that would have been really fun if she had done that like as a piano song. You know?
Mm-hmm.
As part of the set.
Yeah. And I loved Better Man and Babe when they were originally recorded by other artists.
Yeah.
When those came out, I remember in my parents' living room, I would like request those to be on. And my parents
Did you know they were written by Taylor?
Not then.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were written by Taylor until
yeah.
Then
I feel like that just proves that she's such a good songwriter that like you still love those songs, not knowing that she wrote them.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear that she wrote the Hannah Montana song that everybody was dying over?
Yeah.
And like freaking out about?
I'm not a Hannah Montana person, so I don't really know it.
Me neither.
Yeah.
But I like, there was the Swiftie in me was like, I told you.
Yeah. What about if you could get a 10-minute version of another song, what would you want it to be?
I think it would have to be off of Showgirl.
Ooh, okay.
Right?
Which one? I love that you have your papers and you're like shuffling through your printed out track lists.
Either Father Figure or Canceled or Wish List.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Father Figure could be really fun to have her expand on the story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like different chapters kind of.
Yeah.
Canceled could be fun.
Just think there's more in Canceled.
Yeah.
there's more to speak on that.
She could do some like really fun, spooky, extra like bridges. Like how the 10-minute version of All Too Well has like musically has parts that we had never heard before. Like it's not like it's just the same verse and chorus over and over for 10 minutes. Like she puts these whole new sections in.
Right.
So imagining that for like canceled.
Yeah.
Could be really cool.
And like, how I feel about The Man. So like canceled kind of has that same kind of vibe to it in that like fuck the patriarchy kind of thing. But like, I think there's so much more to speak on within the context of that song in particular.
Yeah. I can see that. What about for her next album, TS13? Like, what are you hoping that she will do? Whether that's sound, vibes, content, lyrics. Like, what do you want from her?
I want her to dive deeper into her authentic self, right? Like, we're just starting to get that out of Showgirl, I think. And she's not afraid to, like, give us the dirty. And, like, I think she was afraid of that a little bit in the past. She starts to do that in Reputation, right? Where she starts to, like, shed the skin, right? And I think every album she's, like, continued to shed a little bit of her past. And Showgirl really starts to do that, I think, where she's just not afraid to piss people off, blow people up. Like, I just want her to continue being true to herself and like putting forward what she thinks is her best and working with the people that she really enjoys working with. Because when she likes working with those people, it's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think she definitely shines when she's working with people that she's built that like comfort and familiarity with. Like, I think that's why Tortured Poets was able to be so raw. It's because she was working with Jack and Aaron.
Yeah.
And they're like family.
Right.
At this point. So, yeah, like I'm curious to see her work with a new producer just to see what happens. But I also love how open and free she seems when she's with people that she can really, really trust.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. I also think we're going to get something crazy because it's 13.
I know.
Also, how many artists out there have written 13 studio albums?
I mean, in her cohort, not many. Yeah.
Like, that's
definitely not that they're like self-written.
And still winning awards.
Yeah. And still in the like Billboard top 10.
Yeah. She's been in the top 10 for over 20 years. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Like, not even Madonna was able to do that. She tried and failed miserably. But
yeah.
Like,
I know. She's something special.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of other artists, is there another artist that you're enjoying a lot right now that you think other Swifties would also appreciate?
Not that you haven't mentioned, because I'll be honest, I listened to music the way my parents listened to music, where it was just like whatever we had.
Yeah.
And like my mother never really knew artists or new song titles or that kind of thing. And I listen the same way. And I usually start with Taylor on Spotify, and then it usually wraps me up pretty good. There's a reason I am in the top 0.5% of listeners.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm real shout out to the Min's Piano or the Key Renedy, who do instrumental versions of Taylor's stuff. And I listen to that a lot in my classroom.
Cool. Yeah.
There's an instrumental for studying that somebody has put together on Spotify that I play constantly. But you talked about most of them, and I get most of the ones that I should listen to from you guys.
Yeah.
So like
Okay.
Tate McRae, you guys
Mm.
told me about her. You guys told me about Olivia Rodrigo and like what was the other one? There was another one that you guys told me about. But I do love Conan Gray. I think you guys have talked about him before as well.
Yeah. I really love his first album.
Yeah.
I haven't liked his newer stuff as much. Are you listening to Somber?
I probably have heard it, but don't know that I have.
Okay. He's like the new guy in the Taylor cinematic universe, kind of. I've recently become obsessed with him. I was actually just listening to an interview with him and hearing him talk about his music. I'm like, he has a producer's brain. And it seems very likely that he and Taylor will be collabing, which will be very fun. So I was like, they're going to make something very cool together because I think their brains work in like similar but different ways. He almost reminds me of like a young Jack Antonoff, the way that he talks about his music.
Okay.
But he's really special because his first album that just came out like last year and had like a bunch of hits off of it, he entirely self-wrote it and then co-produced it at the age of 19.
Wow.
So he's like a high school dropout. I think he went to like a special performing arts school. He's classically trained. Yeah, he wrote these songs in his bedroom, recorded them at home, basically took almost the fully formed song. And then he worked with this like veteran producer guy to just kind of like polish it a little in the studio.
Okay.
But it's basically him. Like imagine if his first album is like Speak Now.
Yeah.
And has like 5 hits from it. And he's blowing up. But Taylor mentioned him in an interview saying that she loved his music. And then he was like, holy shit. And then she wrote him a handwritten letter. But then they were seen, he had dinner with Taylor and the Haim sisters out in New York. And then he was sitting with her at the iHeart Awards. He was sitting with her and Travis.
Oh.
And he has said on record that Taylor is his dream collab. So I think they're cooking something up.
They are, for sure.
They've been in the studio together. So I think you would like his stuff, but you should check it out.
I will.
I'm really into him right now. It's got a good like dancey vibe.
Oh, nice.
It's almost like the interview I'm listening to him on is on the podcast Switched on Pop. And hearing them talk about it, I was like, oh, I think this is why I love it, because it's like disco mixed with rock, mixed with indie rock / pop. And his one song, they realized that it sounds kind of like Lizzo's one song and Don't Start Now by Dua Lipa. Like that kind of disco beat.
You know how I feel about Dua.
Yeah, I believe it's his song 12 by 12. So look that one up and start
I'll just go listen to the whole album.
You should. It's like I was playing it in the car with Josh the other day and I was like, why is every song on this album iconic? Like they're all bangers.
All right, once I finish this book, I'll start listening to that in the car. I'm really into audiobooks right now. Like you can't get me
such
out
an
of
audiobook listener.
I am.
Yeah, that's good though. But yeah, I suggest Somber for you.
Okay, thank
you.
I
think you'll dig it. Yeah, and I'll have to link to your playlist with the instrumentals.
Yeah,
for people.
I'll send you the link too, so that you don't have to search for it.
Thanks. So unless you had anything else you wanted to say about Taylor, I think that's it for us. Did you have anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Well, thank you for taking the time to chat with me today.
Yeah.
It's nice to see your face.
Always
good
to see you.
In a little bit.
I know.
Yeah.
I was thinking we gotta get the girls together.
Yeah, we do. So, all right. Well, thank you. And let me do our outro here.
Okay.
Still getting the hang of this. Hold on.
Where's Laura when you need her?
I know. Where's Laura? So thank you so much for joining us. If you'd like to support the pod, please give us a follow at Blank Plate Pod on TikTok and Instagram, and please subscribe to our channel on YouTube, which is where you can also find our reaction videos. If you'd like to get in touch, you can email us at blankplatepod@gmail.com, and you can text us or leave us a voicemail at 717-382-8313. And if you're enchanted by what we're doing here, please consider supporting us on Patreon, which is where we do a monthly bonus episode focusing on Taylor's older songs. And until next time, we had the time of our lives with you. And it's time to go. And thanks again, Kelley, for being here.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye.